And welcome back, everybody. 31 Days of Proverbs. We're in day 25. Can you believe it? We're really making progress through this. Only a few chapters left to go, so let's go ahead and get into the text today and see what it has for us. In Proverbs chapter 25. These also are Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, transcribed. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the glory of kings is to search out a matter. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there comes out a vessel for the smith. Take away the wicked before the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Do not claim honor in the presence of the king, and do not stand in the place of great men. For it is better that it be said to you, "Come up here," than for you to be placed lower in the presence of the prince whom your eyes have seen. Do not go out hastily to argue your case. Otherwise, what will you do in the end, when your neighbor humiliates you? Argue your case with your neighbor, and do not reveal the secret of another, or he who hears it will reproach you, and the evil report about you will not pass away. Like apples of gold in settings of silver is a word spoken in right circumstances. Like an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold is a wise reprover to a listening ear. Like the cold of snow in the time of harvest is a faithful messenger to those who send him, for he refreshes the soul of his masters. Like clouds and wind without rain is a man who boasts of his gifts falsely. By forbearance a ruler may be persuaded, and a soft tongue breaks the bone. Have you found honey? Eat only what you need, that you not have it in excess and vomit it. Let your foot rarely be in your neighbor's house, or he will become weary of you and hate you. Like a club and a sword and a sharp arrow is a man who bears false witness against his neighbor. Like a bad tooth and an unsteady foot is confidence in a faithless man in time of trouble. Like one who takes off a garment on a cold day, or like vinegar on soda, is he who sings songs to a troubled heart. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. The north wind brings forth rain, and a backbiting tongue an angry countenance. It is better to live in a corner of the roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Like cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a distant land. Like a trampled spring and a polluted well is a righteous man who gives way before the wicked. It is not good to eat much honey, nor is it glory to search out one's own glory. Like a city that is broken into and without walls is a man who has no control over his spirit. Proverbs 25, boy, there's a lot in this one when you go look through it. And as I was looking for key verses, I came up with two that really, on the surface, it looks like they're in opposition to each other. So let's take a look at them. First one is verse 26. Like a trampled spring in a polluted well is a righteous man who gives way before the wicked. So as we look at that, and you look at the word there, the phrase, who gives way before the wicked. What do we mean, a righteous man who gives way before the wicked? I looked it up in some of the Hebrew resources I have because I was curious how they wanted to translate that. And also you can go out and look at other translations as well, and they will assist you as you're struggling with the meaning of different words. Maybe those translators put it in a different way. So I compared all that type of stuff. And as you look at one who gives way, a good synonym for it would be one who wavers before the wicked, one who gives in before the wicked. So it has to do with a righteous man who is wavering or giving in before the wicked. What about that righteous man? Look at the first half of the verse. Like a trampled spring and a polluted well. What are a trampled spring and a polluted well good for? They're not good for much, are they? I mean, I think of verses in the Old Testament where it says, you are the light of the world. But the one who puts his light under a basket, or you are the salt of the earth. The one who has lost its saltiness is worthless. So as you compare these things and these comparisons that occur, as we look through the Word of God, it's very clear that the righteous man, the righteous person, is to hold strong before the wicked and to not give in to them, not be moved by them. That's a very important concept. Now, as we look then at verse 21, it says, if your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Well, wait a minute. I thought we weren't supposed to give way to the righteous man, to the unrighteous, to the wicked. I thought we weren't supposed to waver before the wicked. Now you're telling us to go feed them. These verses are different. They still speak to the character of the righteous man. What does it say about your character if you go feed your enemy when they are hungry? I mean, really hungry, right? You're not just taking them to dinner, which you could, right? But what does it really show to you? It shows that your character is so much above theirs that we read, will heap burning coals on their head. And you say, well, I know a lot of wicked people and a lot of nasty people, and if I took them to dinner, they would just laugh at me and I would not be heaping burning coals on their head. Maybe not initially, but notice that the last part of 22, and the Lord will reward you. So in the end, the Lord will reward us. Maybe even now, the Lord will reward us. The bottom line is these two verses are not in juxtaposition to each other. They are complementary of each other because they are speaking to the character of the believer. And that's a critical thing for each one of us to remember as we make our way through our Christian lives. That'll bring us to the end of chapter 25. We're making it a long way. I hope you're doing well. God bless you. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Take care now.